Hello, everybody, and welcome into the wonderful world of Civilization 7. My name, of course, is VanBradley, and in this series of videos, I'm going to guide you through the process of winning a game of Civ 7. We are going to play through all three ages that Civ 7 has on offer, and I'm going to make sure we cover all of the core game mechanics and ensure that you are comfortable enough with the game to get to that end screen and win that victory condition. If you are someone who is new to the Civilization franchise or is not yet comfortable in Civilization 7, I always recommend picking leaders with great passive abilities. For this playthrough to learn the game, we are going to pick Confucius. He is going to give us a 25% growth rate in cities. Abilities like this are awesome because not only are they powerful, which is what we're looking for, you also don't need to think too much about them or know a ton about the game for them to be useful. We just simply need to make a couple of cities. Those cities will simply get the growth rate, the powerful bonus will be active, and we don't have to do much more than that. While we might not yet know what specialists are, this +2 science from specialists is the exact same in terms of the setup I'm going for. We are going to have a lot of specialists, we don't need to think too hard about that, and all of those specialists giving us +2 science is just going to be a great ability. Again, something that's powerful, but something we can use easily. In Civilization 7, your civilizations are separated from your leader, and in the Antiquity age, you can choose between any of the available civs, and in this case, I chose Maya. I don't think Maya is actually the best fit with Confucius's abilities, but I do think Maya is the best civilization for new players. An early scout unit that can do a bit of damage, a unique ranged unit that can help us defend, some passive science from our palace if we put it next to vegetated terrain. These are all really good early abilities for us. Separately from that, we have a unique science building and a unique happiness building that, if placed together, are going to give us production equal to 15% of the cost of any technology we research, which is absolutely powerful. Since we are going to be researching a ton of technologies and they are all going to get more expensive, this percentage production boost is going to grow with us throughout the game, which is amazing. And by throughout the game, I mean the Antiquity age before we have to select a new civilization, but even so, we are going to get a ton of production from this. I've selected some mementos at the bottom as well. These are new to Civ 7. If you don't have a lot of mementos available, that's all good. I've picked some ones that are kind of early unlocks in the game. I didn't want to use some of the more powerful later unlocks when we're teaching the game here. So both the scientific attribute point and the 200 gold per age at the start of an age that we have selected are both available pretty early on for you, so you can pick these two or just any other two that you think are fun. The mementos are powerful enough to make a difference, but not so powerful that you can really mess it up. So if you wanted to take different ones, that's fine, but we went with one scientific attribute point and 200 gold per age at the start of an age. Now that we are here and ready to settle our first city, let's talk about our goals for the Antiquity age. It's important to note right at the top that this game will not be won or lost in the Antiquity age. Our overall goal is to set up a good base of operation so we can pursue a victory condition later in the game. Victories work very differently in Civilization 7 than they have in the previous games. In each age, we will have 4 different legacy paths we can go down. We have culture, military, science, and economic. In each age, following the tasks here on the left and making progress will give us powerful bonuses in the next age. So you do want to come down these 4 trees and achieve some of the goals when you're playing. It's important to know, though, that only the 4 paths in the modern age actually lead to a victory condition. The victory conditions are not in the Antiquity age. We do not need to worry about trying to win the game at this point. So here's what we're going to do, and here's what I recommend you doing. I recommend you get into the game and take a look at the map. Play the first 30, play the first 50 turns, and see what's going on. What's the map look like? What do the AI civs look like? What are the opportunities the game has given to you? Then we're going to come into these legacy paths and see what's achievable. Can we achieve the economic one easily? Can we achieve the science one easily? Achieving the science one in this age is not going to lock us out of the economic victory later on in the game, so I recommend coming in and just achieving what's easiest to achieve later on in the age. But for now, we're just going to play. We're not going to worry about the legacy paths or the victory conditions until around turns 30 to 50. We have our founder unit here, and our first founder, our first settler, is going to settle a city. Every subsequent settler is going to settle a town. So we're getting a city for free right off the bat here. These green tiles here indicate that we are settling on fresh water, which will give you +5 happiness, which is awesome. You don't get a penalty for settling on the yellow tiles, but you do not gain that +5 happiness. So if you can settle on the green tiles, I typically recommend it. We have a lot of vegetated land around here to take advantage of the fact that our palace is going to gain science for being near vegetation, so that's going to be awesome. We also have a couple of really powerful resources within our potential borders. Your cities will have a maximum radius of 3 tiles, so 1, 2, 3 will get us to this gold. This is one of my favorite resources in the game. Some ivory, some wine, these are all within the borders of this potential city, so I don't really see any good reason to move. We're just going to settle right here. Hey friends, Editing VB here, and this game is full of tips and tricks and knowledge about Civilization 7, but if you want that to continue in the long term, you want more videos like this popping up on your feed, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and once you've done that, we can get back to absolutely boosting through this game as Confucius Maya. Our capital is down, which is awesome. I always recommend going for these scouts first. In our case, this is a Jaguar Slayer. Littered across the map here are discoveries that will give us powerful bonuses. But like any 4X game and like any Civilization game, information is power. The more of the map we see, the more AI civs we meet, the more we know where the barbarians are, the better decisions we can make for our empire. So we need to see as much of the map as possible. I'm also going to spend that leader attribute point we took with our mementos. I only have one selection right now, +1 science per age. The only thing I want to talk about here in the leader attribute tree, because you might be assigning things early on, is that all of these trees are very powerful. If you gain enough points, they all gain fairly powerful bonuses as you go down them. So don't sleep on acquiring these points, selecting these points, or using these points. They are all fantastic. I'm going to build a second scout here, and the reason why I recommend scouts over warriors early on is that scouts in Civ 7 have cool abilities. If I move onto this tile here and then use the search ability, it's going to search the map and expand the vision radius of the scout a little bit. It's also going to search for discoveries at a larger radius. So if I click the search button here, you'll see we saw the map in 1 tile here. It expanded our vision, but 2 tiles away, we actually saw the discovery. This is a powerful bonus for our empire, so using the scout search abilities can be very powerful. When choosing your early technologies, I find it best to kind of unlock bonuses for the tiles you're going to have. We know for a fact we are going to come out to this ivory, which will be a camp, and we know we're going to have to get some woodcutters down on these kind of tree tiles here to get over to the wine and to get over to the gold. So when you're looking to improve camps and woodcutters, if I come into my tech tree, animal husbandry is going to be just the thing for us. It's going to passively give us +1 production on camps and woodcutters, which is awesome. It's also going to unlock the saw pit, which is good for +1 production on camps and woodcutters. So just by going animal husbandry, we're going to get a passive boost. And then when we unlock the saw pit, we're going to get a further boost. So you can see why choosing animal husbandry would be a good selection. I won't be able to show you or go through every tech tree selection for this entire game, but just know that's kind of the thought process I'm taking every time. I'm looking at the tech tree, I'm looking at the options, I'm reading through them, I'm going, oh, that sounds good for what we are doing, or that sounds good for what we're going to be doing later. In this case, we know we're building a bunch of camps and woodcutters because we can see the map and we can plan that out, so we know animal husbandry is going to be the best for us. We now have the opportunity to grow our city, and this is very different from previous Civilization games. When you have a growth event, you are selecting a tile to be worked by that new population. Working that tile is going to place an improvement upon it. So if we go on this tile, it says improve with woodcutter. If we come over here, it says improve with camp. Not only will we improve that tile and begin getting its yields, we will also kind of expand the borders of our territory for any tile that's attached to the one we've just improved. Early on, I think this food, culture, and happiness is really going to help our city. We are going to have a camp boost coming in with our tech pretty early on here. So I'm just going to grab the elephants, and as you can see, it kind of expanded the borders in that direction. If we take a look at our resources screen, that ivory is an empire resource. So it's giving us its wonder production boost to the entire empire. We don't got to do anything with it. We don't got to put it anywhere. We are just getting that resource for having put the camp on top of it. You can see that there's a lot of strategy here. You might be thinking about, where do I want my borders to expand though? Which resources do I want and when do I want them? If I put something on this tile, I can't put something else on this tile. There's a whole bunch of things to think about when you're expanding your city, but early on, I think just going for resources you find valuable or tile improvements that you are building things to improve. We know we're getting a saw pit to improve woodcutters and camps, so getting camps and woodcutters is going to be good for us. Those types of things are the things you should be thinking about. Our first discovery is in. It's giving us 2 options for bonuses. You're always going to have a selection, and you can't really go wrong. Remember, before we stepped on this goodie hut, we were getting neither of these. So whether it's the happiness for the celebration or the production, either one is a win for us. I want this scout nice and early. I want to get on to producing other things, so we are going to grab this production. We have met an independent power. Now, independent powers are a little bit different than barbarians in previous games, but they do function the same way. Your independent powers are filtered by type. So here we have an economic, a gold-focused independent power. We'll see science, we'll see culture, etc., etc. These will determine the bonuses you will get for befriending the economic power or for destroying it. If we were to spend our influence here, 170 influence, you can see how much influence you have in the top left, and befriend the independent, we would eventually become its suzerain, and it would give us a bonus. That bonus would be based on its type, so it would be an economic bonus in this case. However, if we decide to buy an army and come and destroy Kerma and get rid of it, we will also gain gold as a reward for that. Right now, though, Kerma does not have a red border. It does not seem overly hostile to us. We do not have the influence to befriend it or the army to destroy it, so we're just going to leave it alone. We have met a new civilization, and this is the first chance... Oh my god, hello, Friedrich. This is our first chance to interact with the diplomacy system. In Civ 7, you will gain influence per turn, and that is usable in a variety of diplomatic endeavors. We can immediately spend it on having a friendly relationship with Friedrich. So if you're getting into game, you're worried about your neighbors kind of declaring war on you, this might be a good idea to increase your relationship. This one will ruin it if you know you're going to want to go to war and kind of have the AI be mad at you early on. This might be a good option. But for now, we are going to click 0 influence. I don't really need a good or a bad reputation. I just kind of want to play. I want to save this influence for other things that I'd like to spend it on. So we'll go 0 for now. It's important to note at this point that I've selected fairly default settings for this game. Again, we're trying to learn the game together. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. So we have a standard continents plus map. I believe the size is small. So like the standard option for size, the standard option for the type of map, and the standard age length. I'm not going to be able to show you every growth event for every settlement in this entire game, but just know that I'm doing the same things I talked about last time. These are the things I want you to think about. We know we're wanting to come and get this wine. We know we're coming to get this gold. We know we are going to improve woodcutters. So going from the woodcutter to the wine, and then the woodcutter to the woodcutter to the gold seems to make sense for us. You could go this way as well. I suppose it doesn't overly matter, but we want to be thinking about these things early on to best set ourselves up for success. So we're going to come for this woodcutter over to this wine next. One of the things Friedrich has just done is offer us an endeavor. Now, depending on what civilization you are, will change the endeavors you can offer. These endeavors will go both ways. They can offer theirs to us. We can offer ours to them. It's always good to just read the support, accept, and reject options and pick the one you think is best. Right now, if I accept, I spend 60 of my own influence. That's most of it, to gain 3 combat strength for my units. If I accept it just for 0, I gain 2 gold per turn and they gain 2 combat strength. And then if I reject it, blocked from future projects for 10 turns. I don't think I need this 3 combat strength right now. In fact, I'd rather have the gold. And so I think that's all good. What I'm going to do instead, though, is offer him one of our endeavors. Since we are a science-focused civ, we have a science-focused endeavor to offer. Again, come through and read the endeavors you have to offer. But right now we can offer a research collaboration. If he supports it, we're going to gain 6 science per turn. He's also going to gain 6 science. If he accepts it, we are going to gain 4 per turn. Either way, whether it's 4 or 6, we only have 14 science per turn. So that's a huge increase to our science per turn. So we're going to offer this. He accepted it, so we are going to gain 4 science every turn for the next 15 turns. We found a natural wonder near our capital here, which is awesome. It means we likely want to come and settle here next. That's a lot of production on those 2 tiles. Natural wonders are just, they're cool. They're on the map. They're going to give us a lot of bonuses. So let's see if we can make that work. One of the reasons I really wanted to take that early 200 gold is it's great for an early building. This saw pit is already going to give us 3 production, 1 for the production of the saw pit, 1 for this camp, and 1 for this lumber mill here, this woodcutter. And then as we get more woodcutters, it's also going to keep giving us more production, which is amazing. You'll notice too that this saw pit is ageless. That means that wherever we put it, it is going to remain for the rest of the game. Later on in the game, we're going to be able to build over some of the buildings that are not ageless, and we'll talk about that when it comes up. But just know that wherever we put these ageless buildings, they're going to stay there for the rest of the game. I typically like my ageless buildings to go on the same tile. So for now, what we're going to do is grab a saw pit and put it on this tile right here. I want to expand the borders in this direction if it's possible. There's no way to avoid putting it on a wood cutting tile, so we're just going to kind of have to do that. And then it opens up this tile to have another ageless building later. every single tile can hold 2 buildings. So if we are going to put a building there, we can put another one later. We know we're going to have more than one ageless building, so we can kind of put them together over here. And just quickly, for your knowledge, anytime you are building on a light green tile, it means that tile's currently not giving you anything, so you're not really removing anything, you're just kind of starting a new build on top of it. These dark green tiles means you are finishing up a quarter, it means there's a space for a building, but once you place the building there, it will kind of fill up both slots. Yellow means there is something over there that you are removing when you put the building down, so if we were to put it on this woodcutter right here, we'd have to reassign the person on this woodcutter because we're getting rid of the one we currently have. We're still going to build it over here, but I hope that was a helpful little introduction to city building for you. I actually wanted to purchase it with gold though, because that was the whole point of taking the 200 gold, is you can get a really early building down, and that's a lot of extra production. You'll see it's added the production to the camp, and it's added the production to the woodcutter over here. We're going to end up with a plantation on this wine, and the granary is another ageless building we can put here. Completing this quarter here, anytime you put 2 buildings on the same tile, you will complete what's called a quarter. Any quarters that are adjacent to, so next to your palace, are going to gain 1 science and 1 culture. So this is a really good deal for us. We're going to get extra food on this. We're going to get 1 food from the granary itself, and then we will also gain the 1 science and 1 culture. Now that we've completed chiefdom, you'll see we've unlocked a unique civic tree. Every civilization player is going to have this Antiquity civics tree available in the Antiquity age, but you will also unlock one specific to your civ. So for us, it's Mayan because we picked Maya, but it might be a different civ tree if you picked a different civilization. The unique civics tree is where you are going to unlock all of your unique buildings. You'll remember that we had those 2 unique buildings. You'll see those right here. You're going to unlock a few passive abilities. These kind of plus icons indicate that it's a passive ability kind of just happening to your empire. So I have some of those unique ones right there. You're also going to unlock some unique policy cards called traditions that will give kind of cool effects to the civilization you've specifically chosen. So there's a lot going on here, and I think the thing I want to do right now is actually unlock our unique science building. We have a really good kind of build available for us to go for some early science. So let's unlock Reign of Chalk first before going into the normal Antiquity civic tree. The game is now prompting us to choose a government. Now, these work fairly simply. They're not complicated at all. As we accrue happiness in our empire, so any surplus happiness is going to go towards a celebration. Once we unlock a celebration, we've reached the happiness threshold. It will give us these 2 options. Whichever one we select, those are the 2 options we will get as an empire effect during the celebration. So if we choose Classical Republic, we get enough happiness for a celebration, then we can either select 20% culture for 10 turns or 15% production towards constructing wonders for 10 turns. I think for us, the best option is going to be despotism here for the plus 20% science per turn. I think the best overall combination would be Classical Republic, but I think I'm going to want the science one most of the time anyway, so I'm going to select that one for now. Now that we've chosen a government, we can start enacting our social policies. These are all unlocked in the civic and unique civic tree. Right now, we only have 2 available. These slots are unlocked in the civic tree as well, so sometimes you'll just unlock a social policy slot. Every time you hit a celebration, you will also unlock a new policy slot, so any excess happiness is kind of indirectly going to more social policy slots as well. Right now, I really want that unique science building though, so we'll add some culture to our palace to get through the culture tree a little more quickly. That's a good thing to note at this point as well. Each of these technologies and masteries has a cost, and the science or culture you are accumulating per turn for their respective trees is going towards that cost. And you can see that just up here, plus 18 science per turn and plus 13 culture per turn. Every once in a while, the game is going to prompt you with little quests. Now, we can just take this warrior down at the bottom if we would like it, or we can build 2 libraries to get 50 science, or we can build 2 settlers to gain 50 culture. I know for a fact we will be building 2 settlers. We're actually probably going to be building 10 or 15 by the time the game is over, so getting this 50 culture is going to be nice and easy, so we're going to select that as an option. We can finally get this wine, which is awesome. If we come and take a look, wine is also an empire resource, so it's just going to passively give 2 happiness in the capital, so that's plus 2 happiness, and 10% culture when we are in a celebration, which is awesome. We found a culture city-state, but this one is aggressive. It's hostile. It has the red border. I'm trying to keep my military away from Kerma, lest it become hostile towards us, but we know if we bring units towards Viadapura, we're going to be in some danger, so we got to watch out over there. The AI loves to send you open borders so they can forward settle you. I don't know if that's true in this case, but I have no reason to accept this. So I'm going to spend 10 and reject it, even if it worsens the relationship. I don't want him coming anywhere near me or my empire. We have discovered a hostile scout unit from somewhere, so we're going to need to bring our warrior back to take care of this homie. I wonder who it's from. Oh, it's from a village we can't see yet, so it's not from Kerma, which is nice. I quite enjoy that Kerma's not actively trying to kill us at the moment. It is finally time for us to build our first settler. Now, if you come and take a look at the settlement limit at the top, this is new for Civilization 7. This settlement limit is going to determine how many settlements you can place down before incurring a happiness penalty. So you are free to go over the limit, but you will get a happiness penalty for doing so. So sometimes that'll be worth it, sometimes it won't. What I will say though is it's almost always better to place Civ 7 at the settlement limit. So if we have 3 settlements available, I want to make sure we have 3 settlements on the map fairly shortly. So we're going to start building a settler. This scout never even had a chance. Now, combat is far more intuitive and important later on once we've unlocked an army commander, but for now we're just taking our sword dude and bashing it into the scout, and he's dead. He's gone. Well, maybe not. Maybe he'll survive yet, but he'll die eventually. We have unlocked our first unique civic here, our unique Kuna, the science building. What I would love to do is actually unlock both of our unique buildings early on. Once we place both on the same tile, they will create that unique quarter that's going to give us a lot of production every time we research a technology. So we want to make sure these are finished before we have a lot of our technologies researched. For the Kuna, it is going to be 4 science and then plus 2 science if placed on vegetation. Seeing as this is a vegetated tile, I would expect that once this is done, we would have 6 science on this tile, so we're going to build it right there. It's important to note now that building cities and building your districts and buildings in Civilization 7 happens from the center outwards. So you'll notice that we weren't able to place the building over here because there's no other building for it to connect to. But we were able to place it here because it connects to the palace and it connects to this saw pit and granary. We could also place it over here if we wanted to because it's connected to another building. So you just need to make sure that it's connected to other buildings. We have hit enough happiness for a celebration. If you're wondering how to check, I believe you come into, oh my goodness, your social policies here, and then it says current celebration 10 turns left. After that, it will tell us how many turns we have left till our next celebration. I'm going to select the plus 20% science for 10 turns. I think that's valuable for us, so we'll make sure that's being selected. And now you can see we have that tool making card that was unlocked earlier. We also have the pet caught card, which is a tradition. It's a tradition because this card is unique to us. Nobody else in the game has this card available. It will also stay with us for our whole game because we selected it in the unique civics tree. So you want to make sure you're unlocking these unique civic cards because they are going to stay with you for the whole game. Plus 1 science on vegetated terrain in cities is incredible. That's going to unlock quite a bit of science on some of this vegetated terrain, which is wonderful. Now remember, we're only getting the yields from the tiles that have improvements. So we're getting the 2 science from this tile, it has a woodcutter. We're getting the 2 science from this tile, it has a woodcutter. But we're not getting the science from this tile because there's no woodcutter on it, even though it shows the science there. When we settle our cities, there are a few things we need to keep in mind. First are the resources available. Resources are very powerful, so we want to make sure we're settling somewhere with resources if we can get them. We got a good option over here and a good option down here. We want to consider the available tiles, but also the amount of space we're taking up. Is there an area of the map that is being taken up by another AI? For instance, if we come and settle over here, I'm not really blocking anybody. This is territory that might be available to us later. I suppose there is a civ over here, so maybe we should think about it. If I come down here, though, I'm getting a natural wonder. It's a lot of production, but I'm also blocking this civ from kind of taking this area, and Kerma is also kind of blocking that civ from taking this area. So I think on the overall value, this might be worth it for us. There are a lot of good options. I've chosen to settle my next town right here. Remember, this settler is not going to settle a city, it's going to settle a town, and we'll talk about towns in a minute, but I think this is the best of all worlds. I'm going to be close to the natural wonder so I can build on these tiles fairly quickly. We have some good resources within range of our town, which is awesome, but lots of room to take up here and expand if we ever want this to become a city, and so I think this is a good kind of safe option for us, so we are going to settle our town right here. Now you'll notice a few things with towns immediately. Firstly, a road has appeared between my town and my capital. That means it's connected. You want your towns to be connected to the capital so that later on they can send food along this road to the capital. The capitals are going to have, or the cities rather, are going to have a hard time growing by themselves. We are going to be relying on towns to make sure Bach is as good as it can possibly be. For now, the town needs to grow to actually make that happen, though. It can't start choosing a focus and sending its food anywhere until it hits 7 population. So for now, we're going to put an expedition base on this natural wonder to kind of absorb that production. In the town menu, you'll notice there is no production option. We can only purchase things with gold. That is because all of our production is being converted into gold. So you'll notice that once we have a town that's doing a little producing for us, all of that production will become gold. We can choose to spend that gold back in our cities. We can also choose to invest it back in our towns. It kind of just depends on what you want to do with it. I've got nothing else going on at the moment, so I've set up my scout to be a lookout. I want to know if the city-state starts becoming hostile towards us, and I also want to make sure that he doesn't come, that Xerxes does not come and settle in this area. This is where our next settler is going to go, and I want to make sure I have vision of any potential settlers coming down our way. We've unlocked another scientific attribute point. You're going to be unlocking quite a few points just through your standard gameplay. You don't got to do anything special a lot of the time. They will typically be based on the style of leader and civ that you selected. So we selected a scientific leader, so the points available are scientific. I'm going to go 15% production towards constructing buildings. The quicker we can get our unique buildings online, the better this game is going to go for us. So I'm going to select that option. When you're going through the tech and the civics tree, do not sleep on these masteries. You're always going to be struggling. Do you go and get the big techs and see what's available there and go, oh, I'd really love a bath. I'd really love a market, or down here, I'd really love the pyramids or walls or whatever. But right now I have a mastery that's going to give us +1 science on science buildings. We know we're about to get a lot of those, at least one. We're putting down our main one, but we're probably going to have quite a few. It's also going to give us a codex, which, if you'll remember in our legacy path, is one of the kind of legacy paths we can go down. And getting a couple of codexes or codices will kind of give us this point to spend in the next stage. So we got to do a little bit of wishing and a little bit of washing. I think for now, we'll go into masonry, unlock a little more of the tree, let the game unfold a little bit more, but I got my eye on this mastery here. I think it might be helpful for us. Calendar round is going to give us culture every time we research a technology, and science every time we research a civic. The quicker we can get this online, the better, because you want to get this before you research too many techs and civics. So calendar round is going to be our next option, and then we're going to circle back for discipline so we can get an army commander. We are definitely putting the Jala on top of our other unique building. Putting both of our unique buildings on the same tile will create that unique quarter automatically, the one that gives us that production we're looking for every time we complete a technology. It's going to give us 1 science and 1 culture for completing a quarter near the palace. Overall, this is just a really good deal for us, so we're going to place it right there. We can finally grow out towards this gold, and that'll be 20% gold towards purchasing buildings. What that means is that every time we spend a gold on purchasing buildings, it will count for 1.2 gold. If we come to purchase our buildings, though, they've already been made quite a bit cheaper. You remember this brickyard was probably around 200 gold, now it's 180. If we end up buying a lot of buildings, which I suspect we will, having this empire resource of gold is going to be very helpful for us. At this point, I am going to come down and sneak this mastery. I do want that +1 science on my science buildings. I'm also trying to delay a little bit until I get calendar round. The way the science tree works, even though you can't see the cost, is all the ones over here are more expensive than the ones over here. And since we are getting a 10% boost on the technology cost, I want to save that boost for the more expensive stuff later on. And by boost, I mean the 10% culture from researching these, not like a boost to producing them more quickly. Uh-oh, bad news bears, everybody. We have some homies down here that are going to be a little bit hostile. We're going to have to bring our swordsman down. Hopefully our Jaguar Slayer can hold down the scouting a little bit. No stress, though. I'm going to buy a Hulche here. We do need a way to defend ourselves. I would rather spend our gold on buildings, but alas, we have to do what we have to do to survive. Yeah, the barbs are kind of, just throwing themselves at our defenses. Every city and town starts with a certain amount of defenses. The AI needs to break down the defenses and then kill all the units to actually take the town, so I'm not overly worried about that. We'll just start chipping away at our homie here. One more turn for our unique quarter to go down. Oh my goodness, there it is, everybody, our unique quarter. Now, every time we research a technology, the settlement gains production equal to 15% of its cost. That's incredible. We just grabbed a narrative event that also gives us a codex, which I am absolutely going to take. We are going to need to find a way to get 10 of them to complete the science tree, if that's what we choose to go for, and getting one here feels really good. It's time for us to grab another settler. Remember, we have this settlement limit. We've actually unlocked another one. If you go through your civics and your texts, you will see every once in a while one of them will give you another settlement limit. A good example of organized military down here, it says +1 settlement limit. Any of these little plus icons are just passive bonuses you're getting, so we will just acquire that for having researched organized military. I'm going to stick to my guns, go 20% science for 10 turns with my... We love the Tyrant Day! We love the Tyrant Day indeed. Hell yeah, that's such a strange name. That's okay though, 20% science it is. Miracles of the Twins. All units gain the poison ability, +3 combat strength against wounded units. Well, this slinger sure is wounded, so let's get that extra combat strength going. Alright, sorry homie. -6 for being a damaged unit. Rip. Unfortunate. Well, we survived. The defense has survived, everyone. There we are, calendar round. Things are going to change for us here. I don't want to change my policy cards or anything, but we can. Every time you complete a civic, you're able to do that. That's just going to give us such a big passive boost to science and culture every time we complete a tech and civic, which is awesome. So what we're going to do now is come into discipline and get that army commander. We're wasting a lot of potential experience by fighting without one down here, so hopefully we can get that locked in and down here as soon as possible. Clearing out city-states also gives you powerful bonuses. I'm leaving Kerma in place for now until we want to settle there, because I don't want the other AI civs to be able to settle in this area. If we can come kill Viadapur, though, that would be a lot of culture for us. I'm going to come and kill whatever's down here just for the extra yields that'll give me. I purchased another Halche just to make sure we are in prime position to do so. But yeah, once this unit is wounded, it's going to be GG's for everybody involved. Is this guy dead already? Oh my god, he is. These are the narrative events I'm talking about, where you kind of just get to choose a point for the attribute tree. I'll take scientific again. If we can get down to this 5% science repeatable, that would be awesome later in the game. So we'll make our way down this right-hand side to get there. That's actually not true right now. I think there's a lot of good stuff kind of in the middle we might want. And 25% science towards tech masteries is really, really good right now. So we'll take that because we're going to be researching a lot of tech masteries. Science buildings go best next to resources. You'll notice that any science building says +1 science adjacency for each resource. This tile right here has 2 resources next to it, which feels pretty good to me. So I'm going to build another library here, which is going to be awesome. So we'll do that. Since it seems unlikely that I'm actually going to be settling any settlements over here in this age, I'm going to come through and use my influence to befriend the independent city-state here. We are going to gain a cultural bonus because it's a cultural independent power. So after 30 turns, we are going to become the suzerain and get that bonus. So we'll start there. We can add more influence to become the suzerain more quickly if we would like. But we'll tip up 2 per turn for now for 30 turns to get to 60. I really love the culture a monument might give us early. You should know that these buildings do have a maintenance cost, so check in on them. If we want the garden, it'll be -2 gold. If we want the monument, it'll be -2 gold and -2 food. We also, the garden is pretty good for us too. We do need food in the capital. We only have 9 per turn, which is really not ideal. I'm actually going to build the garden in the city center itself. It'll add that 1 culture, but it'll also add the food to the city center. And then I'm not building it on another tile out here. I'm completing a quarter, so that feels okay. I've decided to settle my 3rd settlement over here. I think soaking up this space in the middle is more valuable for me in the long run than this space right here. I'm just thinking that this town has a lot more room to grow if I settle it over here. I wouldn't mind this ivory again either. It's maybe not the best settle ever, and I still think this might be better in the long run. We're unlikely to reach this gold, though. He's likelier to get out to it before we can get there, so I think coming over here is fine. We have cleared out the city-state and made it onto the tiles, so now we can disperse the independent power. It'll be gone from the map, and we will get that science boost because it's a science city-state. We've unlocked discipline, so now we have an army commander, and army commanders are incredible. They will move your units around quickly, they will gain experience for combat. They're just such a functional part of our empire. Whenever we go to combat for the first time, we'll talk about the army commanders more, but just for now, I'm really excited to have it. We're going to want to bring it down to all of these units as soon as possible. I'm ready to go into our calendar round mastery. I would love to build the Mondo Perdido. That'll be +1 happiness and science on tropical terrain. So that'll be good somewhere. I'd love to have that unlocked. Plus the settlement limit is going to be great. The cards we unlock are pretty good as well. So we'll come into that mastery. One of the cool things commanders can do is allow you to pack your units inside of them and then zoom them around. A commander with units packed inside of them will always move faster than the units would by themselves. So we're going to pack up all our units here. We have 4 spaces and 3 units. And then Kerma has decided to cause a ruckus, so we're going to have to disperse Kerma. I've already started building a settler to fill in that gap once that's done. Earlier, I mentioned that your army commander is going to gather the experience from combat. If you click the commander, it'll give you its command radius. That is the white line here. Units that attack or defend within the command radius are going to give the commander experience. If we attack with this Hulche here on this swordsman, you'll see that the army commander gained 4 experience. That experience goes towards levels that will go towards these promotions in the promotion tree. We will take a look at this later. However, it's just good to know that your army commander gaining experience is very valuable. Kerma has decided to go really hard in the paint, and I'm really annoyed. So we're bringing our whole army commander up here with all of our units to deal with this problem. We've finally unlocked our first placeable resource, so you will see this is a city resource, this Kowlin. It will give 2 food to the capital and 4 food to any other city. For now, though, we only have the capital to put it in because it's our only city. The city resources can only go in cities, so there's only one option. You'll notice, too, that our empire resources stack, and so we have 2 ivory. It'll give us plus 10% production towards those wonders twice. I would appreciate it if you stopped bashing your head face first into my capital. That was cool, by the way, how it, like, gets the units out and kind of just disperses them for me. I have to keep buying units because these barbs are a pain in my ass. You'll notice, though, that this is a level 2 Hulche because in the science tree, we unlocked the next Hulche upgrade here. So just know that your units will kind of earn promotions as you move through the tech tree in each age. You'll have to manually come and upgrade them, though. So if you have a level 1 Hulche, it won't turn into a level 2 one. You'll have to spend a little bit of gold to do that. The Mundo Perdido is available, so we are going to build that. It's important to know that wonders give adjacency to all buildings that will collect it. So this monument here is a culture building. It says +1 culture for each wonder. This villa is a happiness building, +1 happiness for each culture. This library that we put down is going to be +1 science for each nearby wonder. So it's just good to be placing your wonders in spots where you're going to be building a lot of buildings around them. What I'm going to do is build it on this tile here because it's going to kind of maximally affect the districts that are around it. It's going to remove this saw cutter, this wood cutter, but it will allow me to place a new one. That population that was now homeless needs to find a home, so I can come back in here and find another wood cutter over here for it to work instead. Our army commander has earned its first promotion. Now, I think there are good promotions in all of these trees. I think the first one you want, though, is definitely assault. Units being able to move after unpacking from the commanders. Just so versatile, it's so fun. So we're going to go for that first assault promotion. We are going to be able to found a Pantheon now that we have unlocked Mysticism. It's important to know that all of the other civs in the game could unlock Mundo Perdido fairly early. So if another civ is building it, just because we have access to it does not mean that we have unique exclusive access, and you can only build 1 world wonder on the whole map. So someone else might build Mundo Perdido before we do. I'm hoping not. We're going to go straight into Code of Laws. I would really love to unlock a merchant unit and start trading with the civs. Because we delayed, we are the last folks to come and grab a Pantheon. A Pantheon is basically an Antiquity age effect that will affect any city in which you place an altar. I'm definitely going to go God of Wisdom. We have a lot of quarters. What we need is science, and +1 science on quarters and settlements with an altar is going to be great. So we're going to select that effect. Building an altar in Bach would immediately give me, what is that, 3 science, which is just really, really good. We're going to have to start a little bit of an ass kicking here in Kerma because we got to clear out this area for a settler, so we're going to do that. We are also going to settle our next settlement right here. I've had my scouts making sure the area doesn't get taken. If we can build out to this gold, that would be incredible. I doubt we can, but that would be my hope. Viatapura is being annoying, and you can see Xerxes also contributed some influence, so I'm going to add some support here just to make sure we really quickly beat him to this suzerainship at the end. It also means they'll be friendlier with me quicker and stop attacking me, which would be very, very welcome at this point, because I've got this gold and I've yet been able to spend any of my own gold on buildings. We could get a free expansionist point if we start 4 diplomatic endeavors. Don't mind if I do. I've got 60. Let's start one right now. There's 1 of 4. We're there quickly on this one. All right, I'm reaching out for the gold. 1 more. We just need to grow 1 more time, Uxmal. I'll even help you out. I'm going to get a fishing key here. That's only going to be 1 gold or 1 food for now, but we're going to get a lot of fishing boats, so that'll improve with time. So I'm going to do that. Separately, I should have just bought a building here. That was a mistake, but we're all learning, right? Even I, VanBradley, the master Civ player, still has things to learn. We've gained another promotion. I'm actually going to go for maneuver. I think having the +1 movement while on land is very, very helpful. So once we are done with this battle here, the idea that we're going to be able to go in and we're going to be able to move around the map more quickly makes us far more adaptable as an army. The Mundo Perdido has been built, which is amazing for us. We got the beautiful Gwendo Christie narration. That means nobody else can build this wonder. It's also important to note, oh my god, hello parrots. It's also important to know that these wonders are ageless. Now that Mundo Perdido is here, it is here forever. And so it will always give adjacency to any buildings we put next to it, which will be a good long game bonus for us. All right, I'm going to be sneaky here. I'm going to try and save the life of this homie. Let's kill you, or at least get close to killing you. Let's put the commander on top of this dude and see if that helps. Oh, he's not going to make it. So hopefully he doesn't get killed. Anyways, we're going to disperse this for the gold. Very, very helpful. And 25 experience for the commander is not nothing. You can see, though, we're being forward settled a little bit here, right? If you don't take up the land, the AI is going to take up the land. This is a great little settle for Patavium here. So now that we've cleared this, we got to get a settler down here quickly to take advantage. Oh no, we've lost a Halche. Rip Halche. That's very sad. That's okay, though. We are going to load up our units in here, and we are going to speed away as quickly as we can. Huzzah. It's time to buy a granary and whack Cabnal. We'll just put it in the city center. Any amount of speed with which whack Cabnal can grow is helpful because we have 3 great resources down here to grab. We literally knocked like 6 turns off this settler and got it like 6 turns early just by finishing researching a technology because of our unique quarter, which is absolutely insane. Yeah, that's just absolutely wild. But yeah, we are going to come and settle a city right in the middle here and take advantage of all of this open space. We have a very powerful altar boost here. Gains 1 science adjacency from vegetated terrain, which is awesome. It also means that once we put the altar down, we'll get that science effect elsewhere in our city. So I think the altar at all these buildings is the one we want to go for next. And I can put it right here on this library to finish off the quarter, which looks just about perfect for us. YouTube, we did it. There's a lot of good resources to get, but we have grown out towards both the gold and the horses. That is a huge victory for our empire. Huzzah. Eventually getting this double gold is going to be so much fun. That'll make the buildings even cheaper. What a win. What a win for us. We've unlocked a merchant, so here's a brief overview of how trading works, because it's really powerful and you should look to do it as much as you can. Basically, for any cities within range, now don't ask me too many details about what is in range and what isn't. This game doesn't really tell you a lot right now, which is certainly a choice. But hey, we're going to do our best to figure it out here. Right now, we can have 1 trade route with each civilization. So we can have 1 with Xerxes and 1 with Friedrich and 1 with Tecumseh. It's telling me all of these cities that are in range, right? So even though it's showing me 2 Xerxes cities, I can only pick 1 right now. If I want more trade routes with a civ, let's say I want to trade with both Parsa and Pathragata, I've got to come in here and improve my trade relations, and they have to accept it. Then it will gain a 2nd trade route for that civilization. Basically, when you send a merchant to the city to create a trade route, you're going to gain the resources from that city. So if we go to Parsa, we will gain a copy of this marble and a copy of these dates. That is exactly where I'm going to go right now, so let's head and do that. When you create the trade route, this trader is going to turn into a tradable unit that is pillageable and all the rest. So if we come in here and do that, it turns into a trader, which is awesome. We get the resources. The marble is wonder production on grassland, tundra, and marine, so that's just a empire-wide resource. The dates, though, can be placed in either a city or a town, and since we know we want a Wak Kevnal to grow really quickly because it's got a lot of good resources for us, we are going to set it up there. The amount of towns we now have is absolutely crazy, and it's important to see how these roads are connecting. A town will only give resources to a city that is connected via road. We haven't got to the upgrading of towns yet in terms of specializing them or choosing them to be cities, but it's important to know we kind of want to try and find a way for Khan to connect to Bach. I want to try and use the merchant function that says create a road to settlement, but just know that these roads and where they are is very important. I think it's possible that Khan is actually connected via this road here, but we'll have to find out a little later. The incense is going to give us plus 10% science, and since we are already good at collecting science, it's an extra 3 science in the capital, which is incredible. We get so many yields for finishing culture and technology, civics and techs in the trees that I'm going to build an amphitheater over here, next to the Wonder, I think should be fine. I want to try and leave the vegetated terrain alone so we can get some more of these woodcutters worth 3 science, but we'll see how that goes. I'll inevitably need to work over some of them at some point. Our influence spend has paid off. We are now receiving a culture bonus from this culture city-state. Because we are the first person to choose a culture city-state, we have a choice of all 5 bonuses. I think what I'm going to do is select art. I think it's the most fun thing we could do to get 5% production towards constructing wonders. I don't know if we'll do better than that. I don't know if it's on the cards to choose more, but 5% production towards wonders is not bad. I can get a 4 production saw pit here in our town, which is awesome. So we're going to do exactly that. One of the things that I like to do in Civ 7, I like to spend my gold in towns wherever possible. Cities have the option of producing their own stuff, and buying things in cities is a good strategy and is important. But for the most part, we have 5 cities now, or 5 settlements now. 4 of them are still towns. We don't have a second city, and towns are going to be really helpful for us. Remember, our overarching goal for the Antiquity Age is simply to build a good foundation for later. I'm not trying to win the game right now. I'm just trying to set myself up for success, and having 4 towns right now who can contribute positively and kind of start on a good baseline for future ages is great for us. For the first time, we now have the ability to grow a specialist in our city. As you unlock buildings, any of the ones that take adjacencies, so this bath, this market, you know, this academy here, all of those buildings are only buildable in cities. If you come to the town menu, you'll notice we can't even buy them. If you have those buildings in a city and you have a growth event, you can choose, instead of working another tile, which is always still an option, to place that citizen in those buildings in that tile. The default yield you will get is 2 science and 2 culture at the cost of 2 food and 2 happiness. However, specialists multiply the adjacencies of the tile they're in. They also, in this case, gain an extra 2 science because we are playing as Confucius. You can see that I've selected this tile. We have placed the specialist in there. We are now getting 17 science on that tile, which is absolutely insanity. You don't want to overdo it on the specialist because they do come at the cost of the food, so you'll grow less quickly, and the happiness, so you'll have less celebrations. However, you do want to maximize how many you can have because they are the best source for science and culture, which, remember, as we tech through the tree, is giving us a lot of production, so we're interested in doing that. We've acquired the gold as well, which means it's time for me to come in and buy the building that improves mines. In this case, it'll be the brickyard. So we're going to come and grab the brickyard. I'll place the brickyard out here, and then I'll put the saw pit on top of it a little bit later. I found another city-state to Suzer in. Now, I don't know how helpful that's going to be for the science benefit or the extra wonder production. I think it might be more worth just getting a endeavor over here if we can. Yeah, I'm just gonna get some endeavors going, not because I think I specifically need them, but just because we have the diplomatic endeavors quest over here to get 4 of them. A 7 science academy with this amphitheater is absolutely crazy, so we're of course gonna take that. It seems that the AI are going to want to attack us pretty quickly, or I feel pretty confident seeing as we have 68 science and they have, you know, significantly less than that. We have outpaced them in terms of the quality of units that we can grab. In terms of the quantity, though, we are a little bit behind for sure. So I want to make sure we start, you know, maybe building some walls, getting an army put together. They're not going to declare war until they have a hostile relationship because the penalties for that are really, really high. However, we got to be careful up here that we don't fall into the trap of being in a hostile relationship and not realizing. We did just indeed hit that hostile relationship, which means we're going to have to get some units going here. Again, I'd really rather buy buildings, but it seems like buying units is going to be on the cards for me. We have a lot of horses, which boost our cavalry units, so having a couple of cavalry units would not be so bad. So we'll get a couple of those. I also want a second army commander. I advise you do this in your games as well. Army commanders survive the age transition with their promotions, so having a couple of army commanders that'll go age to age with us can be very helpful. We now have a choice to make in Uxmal. Now, Uxmal still needs to grow a few times to collect all these resources, so I think I'm going to let it grow, but it's just good to know that now I can choose a specialization, which will kind of increase the productivity of some aspect of this town, and also begin sending its food to any connected cities. So right now, Uxmal is using all of its food to grow itself. Once I choose any specialization, it will send its food over to Bach, and will stop growing. So because I want these resources, I don't want it to stop growing. I'm going to let it keep growing, but it's good to know that we can at least choose the specialization now whenever we feel like it. It is absolutely insane just how good each of these buildings is and how little they cost to purchase with our kind of gold focus here. It's a shame to have to get rid of a really good 3 science kind of vegetated tile. I think what I want to do though is chuck this bath down and start getting some more food going. I just think we simply need to grow in Bach more, and we're not getting any food from towns in the moment, so I think that's a worthwhile purchase. I wonder where he's planning on attacking. I wonder where he's lining up his units to attack. It's okay. I got my units here. I'm ready to go. We got the I'll send this cavalry. No, we'll get them this way, because then we'll just flank him and take Batavium if he starts kicking up a ruckus. And now though, I'm going to invest in ancient walls around the city center to kind of increase our defenses, and I think that'll be enough to deter him in the short term. We have a lot of really good wonders still on offer. Pyramid of the Sun is going to add 2 cultures to quarters in the settlement for the rest of the game, which is so great. We're going to have so many quarters in the settlement for the whole game, so I think we're going to chuck this down over here. It's going to cost us 12 turns, so it said 14, but it hasn't accounted for like the resource effects on the wonder production and whatnot, so that's perfect. I also think I want to make Whack Cabnal a city. It still needs to grow a little bit before it gets all its resources, so I know I'm not going to change it into a town focus for a while, but I also like taking towns that have high production, which this natural wonder gives us here, but also a lot of space for quarters as my new cities, right? Any town that doesn't have a lot of space to build in or that doesn't have a lot of production for itself is very difficult to make work, but I think Whack Cabnal would be a great city. It costs us 300 gold here to convert into a city. We have exactly 300, so I think I'm ready to commit to Whack Cabnal as my second city. This means we can get our unique buildings and start taking advantage of that extra production boost once they're both on the same tile. So we are going to do that indeed, and I'll start building just right over here. Xerxes wants our relationship to decrease. And my only concern is that if I fight Xerxes now and I try and take Parsa or something, then Friedrich is also going to come from the bottom. I don't have a big enough army right now to kind of fight on 2 fronts. I'm going to block the diplomatic action. I'm going to say no to the denouncement, which is such a funny thing you can do. I think if I do fight, I want it to be down here with Friedrich first and then maybe with Xerxes later. We can already research future tech, which is hilarious because it will end the age more quickly. It will add 10 to the age progress. And right now we are at 106 out of 200 for the age progress, so that's quite a bit. I think now, 53% of the way through, it's time to look at our, our legacy paths here and see what's achievable. I think we might end up fighting with Friedrich. I don't know if it's fully achievable to have 12 towns or cities. Conquered ones count as 2, so that does make it a little bit quicker. I don't know if we'll make it all the way through here. We will probably grab both of these points, even if we're just settling ourselves. So it looks like we're going to get most of the way through here. The economic one, assign 20 resources, is simply not going to happen. There's not enough assignable resources. The ones we have are mostly global. This is what I mean. If we went into this map going, oh, I want to assign 20 resources, we'd probably be disappointed. But now that we know we can't, we can pivot a little bit. I think the best option for getting a golden age is going to be displayed 10 codices. All we need to do is acquire them. We've already acquired a couple, and the rest of them are kind of acquirable through masteries here. Like this mastery, 2 turns, gain a codex. I think we can do that. Then to display them, oh, we have more places to display them now. That was my bad. There we go. Look at that. To display them, we just need to build libraries and academies. So we need enough cities to do that, since they can't be placed in towns. But it looks like that'll be fine once we get a library and academy in Whack Cabnal. So I think that science is going to be our best bet for the golden age. We'll try and get as far down the culture one as well. Building 7 wonders is just really great, so we'll try and do that too. We have built our second wonder because that boost to production is absolutely insane. That must have shaved 10 turns off this wonder. A Pyramid of the Sun is in. That is going to give us 2 culture on every single quarter, which is, again, is every tile with 2 buildings. This is just sensational. I'm going to start upgrading some of my units just in case he gets any funny ideas. I want to make sure we are ready to attack. This is so much culture on all of these tiles. I'm positively stoked. 43 culture is not amazing, but it's about where we want to be at, so I'm fine with that. If we are going to be trying to build wonders, we might as well commit to it. The Great Stele is going to give me 200 gold for building this wonder, but then every subsequent wonder we build in Bach will give us 200 gold. Probably would have been worth building this first, considering we missed out on the 200 for the other ones, but it's still going to give amazing adjacency to these tiles, so I'm not all that fussed about it. This mastery is going to give us 2 codices, so we are going to do that. 1 codex over here as well. So we're picking them up pretty quickly. It looks like this is where we're getting most of our codexes from. We have our unique quarter finished in Wat Cabnal, which means that every time we finish a tech or a civic, we will be getting that production boost here as well. It's definitely worth a nine culture amphitheater. Oh my goodness. We know we need an academy. We know we need a library to hold codexes, but a 9 culture amphitheater, yeah, +1 culture for each adjacent natural wonder is absolutely bananas. We need to get that. That's so helpful. I really do want more specialists, but there's so many good tiles here. I think I'm going to collect the ivory. I'll get another specialist going. They fixed a bug, so specialists carry over the age transitions now, so I'm much more confident in them. But I want to make sure I'm balancing everything out. I'm finally going to be able to use a town specialization. So here in Koba, there's nowhere specific we're still trying to grow. I don't need Koba to be any bigger to achieve its mission. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of stone or lumber mill woodcutting tiles here, which means if I go into a mining town, it's going to give me +1 production on all of those. That should be 4 extra production for the woodcutters, which is great. So we are going to do that. Now that I've selected a focus, though, I can only switch between this focus and growing town. I can't choose another focus to the next stage, so make sure in your towns when you are choosing a focus, you are choosing one that's helpful. I recommend mining town or fishing town to get you started. Usually the towns will be good at one or the other. But yeah, mining town or fishing town to get you started, depending on what will increase the most amount of resources for you, or the most amount of tiles for you. What's going to happen, though, is the food in Koba, which admittedly is only 3, so that's not really ideal, is going to start getting sent to Bach. Yeah, there it is. 3 food from Koba to Bach. So now that we've chosen a specialization, the food is able to follow the road to the nearest city and start giving its food. You'll see Koba's not connected to Wat Cabnal, though, so the food isn't getting there. It doesn't go through other places on the road. It would need its own road connection there, which is part of what we're testing. It's a weird little thing, but that's how it works as I'm making this video. If it was connected to multiple cities, it would split the food evenly between all connected cities. We have acquired more codices, which is awesome. We've also built the Great Steel, which is amazing. All right, the Great Stele is in, which is awesome for us. We have a little bit of gold to work with here. We can get another codex through a narrative event, so we absolutely will do that. We're out of space. As you can see, we have 2 codexes with nowhere to go, though, so it's probably time to come into Wat Cabnal and start buying a library, or at the very least building a library or an academy. It looks like this town is going to be another mining town for us. We already have a mine. We already have a woodcutter. I think if we just continue with that theme, that'll be a helpful way for us to specialize in the near future, so we'll work with that in Con. The extra happiness and the kind of influence here is very helpful. The influence is going to be helpful for war support if we end up in a war with Friedrich. So I'm just hedging against that. You should know that influence, you want to have a bank of it if you think you are going to end up in a war. It can be very, very helpful. So I'm banking against that for the time being. And I want to take advantage of this tile here between 2 wonders. I'm a little late to the party, but 50% production towards constructing culture buildings would have been amazing. I think we go 2 happiness in all settlements. I'm still anticipating that we're going to end up at war, so Miracles of the Twins might still be fine for us. I don't think 2 culture on the palace is helpful anymore. I'm going to go 25% food in towns instead. We've unlocked Mongolia in the next stage by improving 3 horses. So as you play Civilization 7, you will be unlocking different civs that you can play in the next stage. You don't have to worry about not unlocking any. There's going to be a few default options for each leader and civ that you choose, but unlocking more through gameplay is really fun. We've improved 3 horses, so now we can be Mongolia in the next stage. With that being said, though, we can finally turn Uxmal into a town with a specialization, which is very, very helpful. I think, though, that, yeah, just the mining town one seems to be good based on what's going on. Oh, maybe not, though, because the horses are on a pasture. Yeah, let's go fishing town, because it has those pastures, and I think that's more valuable, because now it's going to send that food over to Bach. And then Bach will be getting food. Yeah, plus 23 food from Uxmal is awesome. That knocked its growth in half, so it was at about 21 turns. Now it's about 10 turns, which is great. We are building the academy here. I'm going to come in here. Oh my god, an 8 culture monument is so good. I'm going to come in here and buy the library to finish up this quarter with the academy. I'm also going to purchase, can I still purchase the 8 culture monument to finish up that quarter with the amphitheater? Incredible stuff going on over here in Wat Cabnal. The Colosseum would give us 2 happiness on quarters in this settlement. That would match really well with the 2 culture on quarters in this settlement we are getting from Pyramid of the Sun. This isn't my favorite place for it because it's next to 2 ageless buildings that don't get adjacencies. However, you know, it's not going to be perfect, but I think we would chuck the Colosseum right in here. It gives us another 2 really good tiles to build quarters on later in the game. We can place 2 more codices in though, which is great. So that's going to be a little more science for us and puts us quite a bit closer to the science golden age here. There's an 8 food garden going down over here, which I'm really appreciative of. I also want to start getting this altar now that we have a couple of quarters, because the altar is going to give us science to these quarters because of our Pantheon. So you want to find these ways when you're playing to synergize the things you've already unlocked to maximize the benefit. We have completed the golden age for the science legacy path, which is awesome. What that means for us practically is nothing right now, right? So what we've done is we've added some progress to the age bar. We've jumped from about 65% to 72%. You know, completing these trees and getting the milestones along the way does add some age progress there. So we're closer to the age ending now. It also means that in the next age, so not right now, but in the next age, we'll get to choose this golden age policy if we would like it. I want to emphasize once again, though, that these are not victory conditions. It's great to have this. I'm glad we got the golden age. We found a way to get it. We might even get the culture one as well. Now, you can only have 1 golden age in the next age, but giving us some options will be awesome. But again, these are not the victory conditions. So happy we were able to do this. We played the game well. We figured out a plan based on what the game presented to us. But we're not mad that we're not making progress in the economy or military one or anything. We now have no option but to research future tech. There are some benefits and some costs for doing this, right? We don't have an option, so we're gonna have to click it, but we will get a wildcard attribute point, which we can spend in that science attribute tree if we want to, which is awesome. We get a boost for a starting tech in the next age, which is really nice, but we also add 10 to the age progress, which can be a little bit harmful. Let's say I want to start a war right now and go to war with Patavium here to take that to fill out our settlement limit. There's not a lot of space for us to use our settlement limit to settle on our own. So it looks like we are going to have to, you know, by force, take the next settlement. So this would have been a good option. We've also hit our crisis. So at the end of every age, there will be a crisis, and it begins at 70% of the age transition progress. The crises will be different every time, and you can turn these off in the game setting. I wanted to keep them on. Why is this like buzzing? Oh, it's just like a weird sound effect for the barbs. Anyways, the effect or the crisis we got in this game is the barbarian crisis. A bunch of barbarians have spawned on the map. You cannot reason with them. You cannot use diplomacy on them or anything like that. You need to go and you need to kill them or let them ravage whoever's nearby. And since I don't want Karal here ravaging Wat Cabnal, we're going to pack up our army and go to town and start getting rid of some of these, you know, barbarian city-states that are spawning because of the crisis. Separately, with some of his army preoccupied over here, it might be a good time to go to war with Friedrich in general and see if we can take Patavium and get another gold for the next age. Would be incredible. I'm going to go minus 10 gold for every city-state we are the suzerain of, and we're only the suzerain of 1 city-state, so minus 10 is not so bad. This Colosseum is going to be done next turn, and once that's done, I think it's time to go to war and see if we can take Patavium. We got a lot of units here. We got a commander. I feel like I can just blitz in there. They don't have any walls or defenses. I feel like we can go in and just kind of take it if we want to. We've got another milestone on the cultural legacy path because Colosseum is done now. So now we can watch the animation. Incredible scenes happening at the Colosseum. That's going to give happiness to a lot of our tiles, which is incredible. We're really stoked about that. And these are ageless, so the adjacency and the happiness is going to happen every time we rebuild a quarter in the next stage. I do want more specialists, but I really want to start collecting these resources. This gypsum is going to give extra production to Wat Cabnal because it's not the capital city, which is super beneficial. So 4 production there is really, really nice. Tecumseh coming in just in time with the 3 combat strength offer, which is awesome. So we are going to take that. What we're doing right now is setting up for a little bit of a war. I want to show off some combat in this episode just in case you end up in some combat in your Civ 7 games. So what we're going to do is build a couple more units here. A phalanx is really, really cool. I think we'll go, why not? Let's go for a phalanx. Why not? Anyways, there's a few things you want to do before you go to war. I would highly advise to never go to war with anybody that you are not in a hostile relationship with. The penalties you will get for your war score and war support will be really, really high. So what we're going to do, we're hostile. We're going to declare war here. Here we can declare a formal war, which is what we're going to do. There we go. He's going to be a little grumpy. We can now open the war details. In the war details, you will see that there is nothing on the screen at the moment. Now, a few things can affect war score. There are some wonders that give you war score. There are some civ effects that give you war score. So you got to be paying attention to all these things. I couldn't go over all of them in this video right here. But know that you can spend your built-up influence, which is why I think it's so good to bank it, on some early war support. The war support is going to give you more combat strength. It's going to reduce their happiness. You know, you really want to make sure that when you go to war, you have a war score that's in the positive territory, if at all possible. It makes it so much easier. You can see if I were to attack this archer with this horseman right now, it would be gaining -3 because of war weariness, and that's just happening strictly because of our war score. Speaking of which, I'm absolutely going to start taking out this archer because it feels like an easy target early on. We want more... Oh, that was an easy target early on indeed. Just in time, we declared war, and the game will give us a free phalanx or some gold. I'll take the free phalanx. Like, get down here, homie. After that, let's get an army commander. I'd love to have another army commander going through the age transition with us. Remember, I did say you want 2 of them, so make sure you're getting that second army commander in the Antiquity age, if you are able to. If you got other things going on and you need to be responsive, don't bother, but if you can, you want that second army commander. We have another promotion. Now, we have a lot of cavalry units, so this is ranged units, siege units. This one is infantry units and cavalry units, so we want to be going down this, because extra combat strength to cavalry would be really powerful. Now, because we have such a higher amount of combat strength because we've stacked our bonuses really well, you can see we're getting +6 just from the horses we've collected, which is really, really good. I think what we'll do is we will just take this guy out. I wanted to explain flanking, but I don't think that's going to be possible, so we'll just do this. And now we can start taking shots at the city here. It's important to know that we are going to have to go through the district defenses before we do any damage to the unit. So this major victory is just happening against the walls. It's not happening against the unit, but we'll take it anyway. This horseman's going to come around the other side and do the same thing. We're just trying to blitz Patavium. If a unit or 2 dies, it's no problem. We got some phalanxes and whatnot coming down. We're just trying to blitz Patavium while we can. Xerxes has also decided to join in on this war, which is not great. Did we hit hostile? We must have hit a hostile relationship that turn. Interesting. Okay. Okay, the district defenses are destroyed. Now, how much damage can I do to this unit? I can kill this unit, so we can take Patavium. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to create the front here. So I'm going to attack this unit here and create the front. And then this unit will get a flanking bonus because it's flanking from the back. These units are fighting on this front right here. The flanking bonus is going to come in from the back. Then this unit will survive as we take Patavium. That's perfect. That's another kind of blitz on our military legacy path here. And we've got Patavium. We are going to keep Patavium. We don't want to raise it. We'll keep it. That puts us at our settlement limit, which is awesome. Also helps this unit defend from these units over here. We're going to need to defend against Xerxes, so I'll send this phalanx up here. This is going to be a little bit of a problem fighting on 2 fronts. But now that we've got what we wanted from Friedrich, I think we can make peace with him in 7 turns. I want everyone to try and heal inside the commander if that's possible for right now. And once we're healed, we'll take out some of these units and kind of get started on going to defend from Xerxes. In the culture tree, I'm going to come down to tactics and get the policy card to produce units more quickly. I think that might be helpful. Building the Gate of All Nations would also be great for 2 free war support on all wars. I don't know how practical that is. Maybe we'll go here first and then tactics. I'm not sure exactly. An extra 4.5 culture just feels so valuable. We're going to take that, especially if we're struggling to get through the culture tree at the moment. We'll come down to tactics. It's also going to help us get our military commanders faster as we complete techs here. I wonder if it counts for future tech. I suppose it might. I guess we'll find out. This is also going to add 10 to the age progress, which will push it up closer to 200 here. It's safe to say this is not ideal, but our homie the Phalanx here is going to do a good job against some of these units. So we're just going to pick them off as we can until our army commander is in. Now we'll see if this future tech counts towards this production or not. All right, future tech is in. It's added quite a bit to the age progress, and our army commander is done. So it does count towards the age progress. So we'll get you zooming over there. Next up, oh, I do want some more. We can get a 1-turn wonder. We can get a 1-turn Gate of All Nations for 2 war score. I can't think of anything more valuable for 1 turn. That's incredible. I think we'll go right over here. No, we don't want to go right over here because it blocks us building out by the Colosseum unless we go all the way around. I think we want to go right where this woodcutter is. So we're going to get rid of this woodcutter. And then I'll grow... Oh my god, more Crisis. We'll grow back out onto another woodcutter that's out of the way. And that's perfect. I'm going to have to go combat strength against independent powers right now because we're not actively trying to fight them. We're just trying to fight real homies. And we're just going to get a flanking bonus here. So we made the front, and then we attacked from the side for the flanking bonus. Huzzah. Please get a promotion. No? How close are you? Not that close. Okay. I'm moving up some of our Jaguar killer scout units here just to hopefully act as bait. Maybe they'll get distracted from attacking Uxmal if there's two easier to kill units there. We have that newly acquired wildcard policy slot, and I want to get to the end of the science tree as discussed before. So let's see what I can do here. I think one science on each quarter is going to be perfect. We have a lot of quarters. They're already getting happiness and culture from wonder, so that's a good synergy right there. Yo, they are attacking the scouts. See, I told you. You bring the Jaguar killers up there and they just flee. The Gate of All Nations is in now. I don't actually know if it adds support to current wars, but it's a good defense mechanism for future wars, and I know it works for that, so let's hop in. It does seem to have added. No, it hasn't. Okay, so it doesn't add war support to current wars. It just gives it to future ones. That's okay, though. We're still fine with that. That's a good defense mechanism next time. We still need 2 more wonders if we want to get this golden age, and I don't know how possible that is for us. I think in Whack Cabnal, we want to focus on getting a good base of buildings to be able to overbuild in the next age. Is there anything here we're interested in? I wouldn't mind a 6 food bath. This is a good tile for overbuilding in the next age because it's next to a bunch of other districts anyway, and so we know we're going to want to overbuild on this tile. And then in the next age, it'll be +4 in the next age after things get crazy, which I'll talk about in the next video. But I think it'll be +6 right now, +4 in the next age to start. I think is worth building for food. Now that the war has calmed down a bit, I'm not actually worried about these altars because they're not going to give me too much in the next age, and the age is kind of ending. I am interested, though, in really improving these towns with the gold. 156 for 5 production is something we have to take a look at. We also got to take a look at 3 food for 156 gold as well. That's going to make Khan a much better town for us. Batavium, we can't do anything yet. Let's just take a look at Koba, make sure we are improving things where we can. A 2 food fishing key will make these fishing boats better if that's a route we want to go down. We just want to make sure we are making progress here. Again, our goal is to set up a good foundation. We're not trying to win the game in this age. We are just trying to set up a good foundation, and I think making sure our towns have what they need to succeed is good at doing that. I've marched my army towards Roma, the capital here, to see if it's worth taking, and it's kind of lame. It's kind of not the best city ever. I think I might just march back up and defend. If we're going to take anyone's capital, it should be Parsa for sure. We are finally gaining experience on this army commander here, which is no problem. We'll just start taking out some of these units, gain that experience, and start feeling really good about that. Even at -6, it's still a hilarious amount of combat strength we have against these barbarians. So we're gonna hop in here and take these homies out while we can. Yo, our city-state is killing so many of his units. Oh my god. He's offered us peace now. He's actually offered us another city. So that would actually put us at the settlement limit. We have increased our settlement limit in the last turn or two via the civic tree. So we get Batavium. He's going to offer us Mediolanum. I don't know how good that is, but there's no more room for us to settle anyway. So I think it is worth just taking Mediolanum in the request, and we'll just accept that. Now, where is Mediolanum? Oh, Mediolanum is a coastal town. This is awesome. We can make good use of this. We'll be able to connect this coastally to maybe Whack Cabnal in the next age with a port, maybe? I'm not sure exactly, but this is good. This is good. This is a lot of food here we can get going somewhere. I'm really, really happy with this. This is a good get for us, a good end to the war. If you ever get offered an allyship, they can occasionally be helpful, but I find it's just a good way to get dragged into wars, so I recommend you reject them as a matter of practice early on. All right, we've got what we needed out of the culture tree. Other than building wonders, none of the stuff that's in here kind of survives the era transition, so we don't need to worry about unlocking these policy cards. They're not going to stick with us. Any of these passive boosts aren't going to stick with us. The only things that stick with us are the unique buildings and the unique policy cards we have in our unique tree, but nothing we need to worry about for right now. We've unlocked all of the settlement limit, I believe. We've unlocked all the settlement limit, which is what we needed here anyway, because that will also carry with us. So that's perfect. I'm going to take a production towards constructing science buildings just in case Whack Cabnal has the opportunity soon. There's no more science buildings left. VB, that was really dumb. This is why you got to pay attention. We're coming in, we're changing it up. I'm going to go production towards infantry and ranged units, I think. I think that'll be good. Food in all towns. I don't need the gold anymore. I think we go for the influence. If we're still going to be at war, I think I want more influence. I think that's fine. We are making progress in the war against Xerxes. I would love to take Parsa if we could, even going over by 1. It's a pretty big happiness penalty in all settlements, but the age is going to end soon, and we get new settlement limit in the next age anyway, so that'd be good for us. I think now's a good time to explain how buildings work in the next stage. Any of our non-ageless buildings, so this arena, this barracks, whatever, in the next age, they will become obsolete, which means they will not count towards a quarter if they're on the map. So all of these quarter bonuses will go away. We'll have to build new quarters. It also means they will lose any adjacency they're giving us. So this arena would give us +6, but its base yield is +4. So in the next age, we will start by getting +4 instead of the +6 it's giving us currently. This still has some benefits, though. We still want to make sure we're placing down all the buildings we want, because we still do want their base yields early on. So I've chosen to go for a monument, and I'll probably go for the barracks, because I want that base production in the next stage. If I wanted the base happiness, I might go for an arena, etc., etc. So the buildings don't give you nothing. They still give you their base yield, so it's still important to get them down and keep them down. But that's how you're kind of calculating the yields for the next stage. I know I want some happiness in the next stage, so the arena's good because it'll give me 6 now and 4 later. Same with the barracks, etc., etc. We'll talk about what we do with these buildings and how we overbuild them, etc. when we get there. But that's kind of what I'm thinking about as I'm currently choosing which buildings to place down. I won't be able to get them all, right? So I'm trying to decide which kind of passive yields from the base part of this do I want in the next stage. We're about to kill their army commander. If you kill an army commander, it's not gone forever, but it's gone for about 15 turns or so, so it's very much worth doing. You don't take damage against army commander, so we just eliminated it for the next 15 turns or so. We can now make forward progress against Parsa and see if I want to try and take it before this age ends. Uh-oh, there's more crises happening. The crisis is intensifying. That's not good. Oh dear, there is a lot of barbs here. There is a lot of barbs here indeed. I think we'll have to go minus gold and food. God, that audio bug is so annoying. And then minus gold for each imported resource. Is that going to be bad? How much gold is that? -7, so that is pretty bad. I'm going to pivot and build a market down in Whack-Cabnal to kind of hedge against the fact that we're losing a whole bunch of gold now. Khan is ready to become a mining town as well. Lots of good mining tiles there. Now, which city are you connected to? Are you going to Bach? See, you're not going to Bach because you're going through Koba first, and that's the problem. We're at -17. I don't even know how that's possible. So this is the problem, is these roads and the way they send food is really, really weird. And you're not going to Whack-Cabnal because I know that you're not getting any food there because I see you're not connected. All right, I want to try and use the merchant unit and create a road. I wonder if that's possible. All right, we're going to produce a merchant unit and try and use its create road function and see if that's helpful at all. All right, create the front, and then we'll flank. Oh, I guess we ran out of movement. Just kidding. Well, we were going to flank. I want it to be known that I was planning on flanking there. Now, he's also going to offer me a city for peace, but I think I'm going to reject it. I want to see if I can try and grab Sparta before the time runs out. I really don't know how practical that actually is, but I'm pretty committed to trying. All right, the barbs are attacking Whack-Cabnal now, which is not making me very happy. They're not doing great against the wall, so I'm glad we built those. But this is a lot of barbs down here. All right, we're going to bring this army commander down. It has the extra movement. There's some units in it. I think it'll be a good time to kind of come down here and try and rescue Whack-Cabnal. 3 combat strength is very welcome. We'll support that. Speaking of which, can I quickly just add some more to this war score? Is that possible for me? Oh, it sure is. Look at that. Hell yeah, brother. All right, they are bringing a lot of their good units to bear now, so we got to be a little careful about how we want to do this. We got to make sure we're putting up a good front. We got to make sure we're getting our flanking bonuses. It doesn't appear they have a lot of ranged units outside of the Immortals, though. Is that a free promotion for our commander? Oh, hell yeah. Give me the infantry unit one. That would have been nice earlier, but that's okay. I'm going to try and just circle around to this Immortal here and get rid of it. Oh, yeah, we're losing somebody. Yep, we lost the dude. Oh, God. Oh, no. So this age is going to end in 5 turns when I add 10. Yeah, because 5 turns will add 5 to the score, and then 10 will push it to the end here. So this age is going to end in about 5 turns, so I'm not going to be able to make the piece I want. If we could get, let's say, Sparta. A Hagmatana would be great, but there's no way to connect it. If we can get Sparta from this deal, I think it'd be good. He's going to accept us taking Sparta. It puts us 1 overall settlement limit, but I think that's okay. It's a good location for a town. It gives us some options in the next age, so we'll take Sparta for now. Bring some units over to defend it against these barbs. I think those wars were a success overall. The main thing to take from those wars specifically is that you don't have to expand just by settling your own cities. Taking advantage of a war to acquire a city or two is really, really helpful. Build a road to a friendly settlement. What does that mean? Build road. Oh, to Wat Cabnal. Oh, and that allows the food to go there? Bruh, that allows the food to go there. Oh my god. Okay. That was excellent. Well, that was really easy to understand. Okay, well, we figured that out. Good stuff. I think we're going to run out of time, but the idea of another 3 permanent resource capacity in this settlement would be incredible. How many turns is that? 11, so it's the real deal. It's really 11. Oh, we're going to end the age before that. Okay, in that case, try and get the 7 production barracks down so we at least have that, you know, base amount of production in the next age. Now, when the age ends, there's no way to pause. So let's take a look at our goal. What did we want to accomplish in the Antiquity age of a game of Civilization 7? And I said at the time that what we wanted to accomplish is building a good foundation. And I think we've done that. We are at or just above the settlement limit. We have maximized the kind of space we can take up on the map. We have 2 really good cities working for us. We have a couple of really good towns providing food to those cities. The ones that aren't are providing the Empire with really good resources that are helpful, such as gold, or these horses were kind of really helpful in the last war we just fought. So we haven't won a victory condition yet, but we are well on our way. We have the right resources to do it. We have some good cities. We have some good towns. We have some good wonders for some permanent adjacency boosts later on. So I don't want you to overthink the Antiquity Age in Civ 7. You're not trying to win the game here. You're trying to set yourself up for success. And as you can see, we've done a lot to do that. This is a great kind of bouncing board to the Exploration Age. Now, the next thing we want to do is just prepare for the age transition. A lot is going to change. A lot is going to stay the same. I want to make sure we've checked our legacy paths. Things are good. You know, we got the science one we wanted. We're not going to get the economic one. We're close to the military one, but we're not going to get there, unfortunately. That's all good, though. But we got the science one we wanted. You know, we got enough points in the other categories to be happy. Our army commanders are going to survive through the ages. They both got some promotions. That's awesome. I think we've done about the best we can do. We've gone through, we've unlocked all of the unique cards that are going to follow us through to the next age. That's good. We've come through here and unlocked all these settlement limits in this tree that's going to carry through. So I think we've done as good as we can to prepare for the next age. All right, next turn should end the age. It's going to add 10 to the age score. That'll put us at 202. The age ends at 200. So we should be able to click next turn and go into the age transition. Future tech is unlocked. We got another scientific point for doing that, or a wildcard point. We could put it anywhere. I'm going to commit to the science tree until we're at the bottom. +1 science per age in towns is really helpful. +2 in distant lands would be great for the next age. I have a funny feeling we're going to be... What's the legend unlock? Okay, we can't click the legend unlock. I don't know what that is exactly. Gold and happiness towards maintaining buildings might also be quite nice, so we'll come down this side maybe. We can get a phalanx or a migrant. So we'll get the migrant. We don't have time to move this migrant around, and I'm not sure it survives the age transition. So I'll just use the migrant here. But the migrant adds a population to the city and triggers a growth event. Sometimes it's only rural. Yeah, just a rural growth event, which is all good. We just need to see what tile we want to grab. And it's probably just one of these, you know, 3 production woodcutters or 3 science woodcutters. I don't think that a lot of that science is going to carry through once we're done being Maya, but I suppose we'll see in the next stage. The age of antiquity is ending. No stress. It doesn't really matter what we select here. The production is not going to finish, so if we can just toss down some 1-turn walls, if they'll even do that, that'll be fine. The age of antiquity comes to an end. Now we get to go through our first age transition. We got some Mad Confucius unlocks, which is awesome. I'm still leveling up my profile. Level 35 is great. Good stuff. We got a cool little badge. How fun. We are going to transition to the next age. We've unlocked a few really good options. Let's take a look at some of the ones I'm interested in. I normally really like Hawaii, but I don't think we have the kind of coastal terrain to make it work at the moment. Now, part of the exploration age is, of course, going and finding more coastal terrain, but I don't think that's exactly what we're looking for right now. If we take a look at some of these options, though, Ming might be interesting. I mean, I think this has got to be the selection here. Plus 50% science in the capital, minus 15 science per turn for each social policy, but not tradition. That's fine, because we have a lot of really good tradition cards to unlock as Ming, and that we're carrying over as Maya, so this might be good for us. Forbidden City is fine, but the Ming Great Wall, its culture, its gold, that just feels really, really good. I think this might be a good option for us. Mongolia is a very military focused civ, but I don't think we need Mongolia in this game to have a military focus. If we want to go to war with people, we can choose Ming, get ahead in science, have better units, and then just really go to town. So I think we're going to choose Ming in this next age. So we are going to go into the next age no longer as Confucius Maya, but Confucius Ming. Let's choose Ming here. We are now here in the exploration age as Confucius Ming. How exciting. I can't wait for this game to continue. Talk about what's changed, what stayed the same, what I want you to focus on in the exploration age as we learn how to win a game of Civilization 7. Remember, our goal in Antiquity is to set up a good base of operation from which to work from. I think we have done that very well here as Confucius Maya. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below something you learned from this video and something you're still confused about, so I can address it in the exploration and modern age videos. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you just coming in here and having a good time with Civ 7. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.